Cycle 1, week 17, number 138, rock bridge. So this week we're talking about rock bridges. And just a note that I found 3 years ago and thought was good to share again. A natural arch is a rock with a hole formed by natural forces. And then more specifically, a natural bridge or a rock bridge is an arch where water is the natural force making the hole. So natural bridges, water made the hole. So to start talking about these type of things, I found some pictures and printed them off 3 years ago. On the back, I wrote where these places are. A lot of the arches are in Arches National Park, in Utah. And this is in Aries Natural Bridge State Park. So I just printed off a lot of pictures to show that you can look through with your kiddos and talk about what might have created these things. This one you can see has water underneath it, so that's where you could talk about that's a bridge because water formed it. I mean, sometimes water might have formed these, but there's no water remaining, so we're not sure always, I guess. But I have listed whether they're bridges or arches. So going through those pictures and talking through those and what might have formed them would be a great discussion for you. And you can talk about erosion and how that is part of what creates these things, because the natural forces, whether it's water or wind or storms or whatever, are creating a great deal of weathering and erosion over time. So that's what creates these. So to kind of show, though, how these are still standing and not just crumbling, we're going to make a book bridge. So you need two surfaces that are close together. In our classrooms, we're just going to bring our two tables close enough together to do this. And I think, approximately a foot apart should work. We can start with that. I've got 9 books to start with. I'm going the wrong way here. This way. And definitely talk to the kids about, do you think that we can use books to span this distance? Because this distance is bigger than this book. See, it's bigger than the one book. So do they think that we'll be able to make the bridge? Oh boy, here it is, moment of truth. Sweet. So another thing that you can do that is not part of the Van Cleve, and it's not mentioned in Nicole Liam, but it was mentioned in the Cornerstone lesson plans, which I used 3 years ago, and I actually think is a really good visual. Nicole Liam does talk about center of gravity, because that's why these are standing, because all of the books on the sides, all but the center book, its center of gravity or its center of mass is over top of the chair or the platform, the base. And that is why that center one is able to be held. So one way to visualize this is to cut pieces of string and use a piece of painter's tape, which my painter's tape walked away. Okay, painter's tape. Trying to find the beginning of the roll. Oh boy. Okay. So taping a piece of string to hang down in the middle of each book. Oh, and this would be more helpful if my books were at the edge of the chair. So let's do that. There we go. So I'll start with this one, and I'm going to do it over the middle. And if you keep going to add a piece of string to each book in the middle, then you'll be able to really see. This is what you'll see. You'll see that all the strings are hanging over top of the base, which right now for me is stools. In our classrooms, it's going to be tables, and in this picture, it's chairs. And you can see that all the strings are hanging over top of the chairs here, all except for that center one. So if you take the time to actually add the strings to here, it's going to really show that really, really well, which I think is really cool. So that's all about, again, the center of mass being, of each book, being over the chair for all but that center book. So that's why these arches and bridges are able to stand, because it's the same kind of thing. Each little piece, their center of gravity is over the base rather than not over the base. Because as soon as you, and you could do some experiments, right? As soon as you make this not the case, it's going to fall, I assume. Ah! So you could do some testing of that, although be gentle with my books. That's week 17.